There are moments in life when people will try to tear you down. They will betray you, abandon you, speak against you, and do everything in their power to break your spirit. Maybe you've faced rejection. Maybe you've been through a heartbreak so deep that you didn't know how to move forward. Maybe life hit you so hard that you thought you would never rise again. But I want to tell you today, they thought they broke you, but God is rebuilding you. You see, the enemy will use people, situations, and struggles to make you feel like you've reached the end. He wants you to believe that you are too damaged, too lost, too weak to ever be restored. But what the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for your good. There are moments in life when things don't go the way we planned. We face disappointments, betrayals, and unexpected challenges that shake us to our core. People walk away, doors close, and it feels like everything is falling apart. But what if I told you that nothing is happening by accident? What if I told you that every challenge, every setback, and every heartbreak is being used for something greater? Life has a way of making us feel like we've lost too much, like the wounds we've endured are too deep to ever heal. It's easy to believe the lies that say you'll never recover, you'll never be happy again, you'll never fulfill your purpose. But what others meant for harm, God is turning for your good. What looked like a setback was actually a setup for something better. What seemed like the end was really the beginning of a greater chapter. Think about Joseph. He was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and falsely accused. For years it looked like his life was over. People wrote him off, counted him out, and assumed he would never rise again. But behind the scenes, something greater was happening. He wasn't buried, he was planted. What seemed like injustice was actually divine positioning. The very things that were meant to break him became the stepping stones to his destiny. You may be in a season right now where things don't make sense. You've prayed, you've believed, but instead of things getting better, it seems like they've only gotten worse. The people you trusted may have turned their backs on you. The opportunities you thought would work out may have disappeared. The dream you once held close may feel impossible. But here's what you need to know. God has not forgotten you. He has seen every tear, every struggle, and every battle you faced, and he is not going to leave you where you are. What you're going through is not the end. It's preparation. The people who try to break you don't have the final say. The situations that try to crush your spirit don't define your future. The mistakes of your past don't cancel out the purpose God has placed on your life. You may have been knocked down, but you are not knocked out. You may have gone through the fire, but you are coming out stronger. Sometimes we look at our hardships and wonder why they happened. We try to make sense of the pain, the rejection, the unfair situations. But if we could see the full picture, we would understand that every challenge was actually working for our good. That closed door wasn't rejection, it was protection. That person walking away wasn't abandonment, it was redirection. That hardship wasn't punishment, it was preparation for something greater. The key is to not get stuck in the disappointment. Don't let what you've been through define you. Don't let the pain of the past rob you of the joy of the future. Just because it didn't work out the way you thought it would, doesn't mean it's over. Just because someone walked away doesn't mean your life is ruined. Just because you faced a setback doesn't mean you won't rise again. When you stay in faith, when you keep believing despite what it looks like, that's when you'll see the breakthrough. That's when you'll realize that what was meant to harm you was actually the very thing that propelled you into your destiny. The betrayal, the loss, the hardship, it all had a purpose. It pushed you closer to where you were meant to be. It shaped you into the person you were created to become. So, don't live in regret. Don't dwell on what was lost. Don't give power to the people who try to break you. Instead, lift your head high and keep moving forward. There is a restoration coming. There is a new beginning ahead. What seemed like a defeat was actually a divine setup for something greater. The best part of your story has yet to be written, and the one writing it never fails. You are stronger than you think. You are more resilient than you realize. What was meant to break you has only made you stronger. So hold your head up, walk with confidence, and know that everything is working for your good. The pain of the past is making way for the joy of the future. The struggle you've endured is setting you up for something beyond your imagination. You haven't seen the best yet. The doors that closed were never meant to hold you back. They were meant to lead you to something better. The people who left weren't part of your destiny. They were just part of your journey. The challenges you faced weren't meant to destroy you. They were meant to develop you. So don't be discouraged. Don't be disheartened. This is not the end. This is just the beginning of something greater. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for your good. Get ready, because the best is yet to come. Life has a way of testing us in ways we never expected. The road gets tough, the weight feels heavy, and it seems like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. In these moments, it's easy to feel forgotten, overlooked, and abandoned. You may think, why did this happen? Why did they walk away? Why did this door close? But what if I told you that none of it was by accident? That everything you have walked through, every tear you have cried, every battle you have fought, has been leading you to something greater? It's hard to see in the moment, but often the very things that tried to break us are the things that shape us. The rejection wasn't just rejection, it was redirection. The loss wasn't just loss, it was making room for something better. The season of pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. What looked like a setback was actually a setup. What seemed like the end was actually the beginning of something greater. Sometimes the end is the beginning of something greater. People may have thought they had the power to stop you. They may have counted you out, walked away, or even tried to tear you down. But they don't have the final say. The situation that looked like it was meant to destroy you is actually being used to build you. The very thing that looked like a breaking point is becoming a turning point. Think about a house that's being rebuilt. Before anything new can go up, sometimes the old has to come down. Sometimes the foundation has to be strengthened, the weak spots have to be torn away, and the things that no longer serve a purpose have to be removed. It may look like destruction, but it's actually construction. The tearing down is just making space for something stronger, something more beautiful, something that will last. That's what's happening in your life. You may have faced loss, but what's coming is greater. You may have gone through rejection, but that means you're being positioned for something better. You may have felt like everything fell apart, but the truth is everything is falling into place. What was taken away wasn't meant to stay. What walked out wasn't meant to be part of your future. What seemed like the end was just a transition into the next chapter. It's easy to focus on what's gone, on what didn't work out, on who left, but don't get stuck in what was. If something was removed from your life, it's because it wasn't necessary for where you're going. If a door closed, it's because there's a better one ahead. If someone walked away, it's because they weren't part of your destiny. When we go through difficult seasons, it's easy to wonder if things will ever change. But just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it's not happening. A seed doesn't sprout overnight. A house isn't rebuilt in a day. The process takes time, but the result is worth it. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. The strength you're gaining, the wisdom you're receiving, the faith that's being built in you, these things are setting you up for what's next. Don't let the past define you. Don't let what you lost keep you from embracing what's coming. The best part of your story hasn't even been written yet. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. You are not at the end. You are on the verge of something greater. Keep going, keep believing, and watch how everything turns around for your good. There are moments in life when the weight of everything we've been through makes us feel like we will never be whole again. The disappointments, the betrayals, the failures, they add up, and before we know it, we start believing that we are too broken to ever be restored. But what if the brokenness wasn't the end of the story? What if instead of being left in pieces, you are being carefully and lovingly put back together in a way that's even stronger than before? When something is broken, we assume it has lost its value. We think that because we've made mistakes, because we've been hurt, because life hasn't gone the way we planned, that we are no longer useful, no longer worthy of love, no longer capable of fulfilling our purpose. But nothing could be further from the truth. What looks like brokenness is actually part of a greater process. It's not the end of you, it's the beginning of something greater. Think about a piece of gold that has been shattered. To the average person, it may look like a pile of useless fragments. But in the hands of a skilled craftsman, that gold can be melted down and reshaped into something even more beautiful than before. It's not just repaired, it's transformed. The heat refines it, removes the impurities, and allows it to take on a brand new form. That's what is happening in your life right now. You may feel like you've been through the fire, like everything around you has fallen apart, but you are in the hands of a master craftsman. Every trial, every heartbreak, every disappointment has been part of the process of refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what's ahead. You are not being discarded, you are being reshaped. There are times when we hold on to the past so tightly that we don't realize it's keeping us from moving forward. We replay the pain, we dwell on the regrets, we wonder why things had to happen the way they did. But at some point, we have to make a decision. Will we let our past define us, or will we allow ourselves to be transformed? You don't have to stay in the place of brokenness. You don't have to live with a mindset of defeat, believing that your best days are behind you. You may have been through struggles, but you are not a victim. You are an overcomer. You are being strengthened, renewed, and set up for something greater. When something valuable is being restored, the process takes time. A masterpiece isn't created overnight. The hands of a skilled artist carefully shape, mold, and refine every detail. In the same way, what you've been through has been shaping you for what's next. The pieces of your life that seemed shattered are being put back together in a way that's stronger, wiser, and more purposeful than before. And if you could see what is coming, you wouldn't waste another moment worrying about what has been lost. The closed doors, the painful endings, the seasons of struggle, they were all necessary to bring you to where you are meant to be. You are not forgotten, not forsaken, not abandoned. What tried to break you is not the end of your story. In fact, it's just the beginning of something more powerful than you can imagine. Let go of the mindset that says you are too broken to be used. Let go of the thoughts that tell you it's too late, that you've messed up too much, that you'll never recover. Those are lies designed to keep you stuck. The truth is, you are in the middle of a rebuilding process. You are being restored in ways you never expected. The doors that closed are making room for greater doors to open. The things you lost are setting you up for even greater gains. Don't give up now. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt into something stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. The best days of your life are still ahead, and what's coming is far greater than what has been. There are moments in life when it feels like everything has been taken from you. People have walked away, opportunities have slipped through your fingers, and the dreams you once held so tightly seem like they will never come to pass. It's easy to look at everything that's happened and believe that the best days are behind you. But what if I told you that what you've lost is nothing compared to what's coming? What if I told you that this season of rebuilding is about to bring you into something greater than you ever imagined? You see, when people try to break you, when life knocks you down, it may feel like the end, but it's never the end when you are being prepared for something greater. The setbacks, the disappointments, the betrayals, they were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to refine you, to strengthen you, to build something in you that cannot be shaken. Maybe you've been through a season where you gave your best and still got hurt. You loved deeply, but people took advantage of you. You poured your heart into something only for it to fall apart. And now when you look around, all you see are the broken pieces. But let me remind you, broken pieces in the right hands can create something more beautiful than you ever expected. Think about a house that has been damaged by a storm. The foundation is still there, but some parts have been torn apart by the wind, the rain, the forces that came against it. At first glance, it may seem like a tragedy. But what happens next? The owner doesn't leave the house in ruins. The rebuilding begins. New walls are put up, a stronger roof is placed over it, and what was once damaged is restored into something even better. That's exactly what is happening in your life right now. What tried to break you was never meant to leave you in ruins. It was meant to position you for a rebuilding season that will take you further than you've ever been before. You are not being left in the brokenness. You are being rebuilt, renewed, and strengthened in ways you can't even see yet. We want to rush the process. We want everything to be fixed overnight. But rebuilding takes time. It takes patience. It takes trust. Just because you don't see the full picture yet doesn't mean the work isn't happening. Behind the scenes, the pieces are coming together. The doors that closed were not a rejection. They were a redirection. The people who walked away didn't leave you empty. They made room for better relationships. The opportunities that didn't work out weren't failures. They were setups for something even greater. It's easy to look at what's been lost and feel discouraged. But what if you shifted your perspective? Instead of seeing loss, what if you saw preparation? Instead of focusing on what's missing, what if you focused on what's being rebuilt? You may not have chosen the process, but you can choose to trust that something greater is on the way. The pain of the past is not wasted. The lessons you've learned, the strength you've gained, the wisdom you've developed, it's all part of the rebuilding. You are not the same person you were before. You are stronger now. You are wiser now. You are more equipped now for what's ahead. Don't let the past define your future. Don't let what tried to break you convince you that you'll never rise again. What's coming is far greater than what's been lost. The new doors, the new relationships, the new opportunities, they are all part of the rebuilding. What was meant to break you is only setting you up for greater strengths. The tears you cried, the nights you spent wondering if you'd ever be whole again, the moments when you felt like giving up, they were not in vain. They were laying the foundation for a comeback that's going to be even greater than the setback. It may not have happened the way you thought it would. The plan may have changed, but the purpose is still intact. The destiny on your life is still unfolding. The pieces that seem scattered are coming together in a way you never expected. You are stepping into a season of rebuilding, where what's ahead is more beautiful, more powerful, and more fulfilling than anything that's been left behind. Don't give up. Don't let discouragement take root in your heart. The process may not be easy, but the result will be worth it. What's coming is greater than what's been lost. You are not broken beyond repair. You are in the middle of a rebuilding process, and when it's done, you will be stronger, wiser, and more blessed than ever before. What tried to break you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you for something greater. The pain, the setbacks, the disappointments, none of it was wasted. Every tear, every struggle, every loss was shaping you, strengthening you, and positioning you for a future far greater than what you left behind. This is not the end of your story. What others thought would break you has only made you stronger. You may have walked through a season of difficulty, but you are stepping into a season of restoration. The broken pieces of your past are not the end. They are the foundation of something new, something beautiful, something greater than you ever imagined. The rebuilding is happening, even if you can't see it yet. Even if the process feels slow, trust that every moment, every step is leading you toward a future filled with hope, purpose, and blessings beyond measure. So, stand firm, keep believing, keep moving forward. What's ahead is greater than what's been lost. Your best days are still to come.